See Brown in your face.
Have you heard of Everything at Once?
Do you know about Everything at Once?
It's internationally known.
Aliens listen to it.
It's the best ever.
If there's something you're looking for in the 814, or feeling a little bored and think there ain't no more, check out Everything at Once and allow it to be your source. It's that raw podcast that's always showing support, highlighting the scene. No need to take I-90 to Peep or 79 to see how it be. Interviewing your locals with mindsets that are global. Innovators and creators on every single upload. So much going on in the EPA.
Incredible content.
Everything at Once will keep you up to date.
Amazing guests.
What you doing? Come through and hang with Tony and Dave.
Community driven.
Bringing everything at once from around the way. Everything at once from around the way. Hey.
Please listen. We love you. Everything at Once.
Everything at Once.
It's time to introduce this show.
The best show on the face of the planet.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. We want to thank our Patreon producers, Brian G., Josh W., Ian D., Nick G., and Sadie M.
Patreon, it's an awesome way to support the show and say thanks. You can become a Patreon supporter by clicking the link below and choosing to be an intern, assistant, or producer level supporter.
If being on the production team is too much pressure for you, you can also send any contributions using our Venmo at Everything at Once Studios. We now want to thank all the local businesses who supported this episode. These businesses get the Everything at Once stamp of approval and are critical members of the Everything at Once community. We couldn't do it without them. We've all seen those cars covered in rust, rotting out the floorboards and shortening their lifespans. Don't let your car be a victim of the harsh, eerie winters this year by getting a fluid film undercoating at Tommy's Automotive.
Winter is coming. Book your appointment today. Fluid film undercoating with Tommy's Automotive starts at $100. God, that's so cheap.
It really is a great deal.
It's a slamming deal. So you're going to want to call Tommy to get your quote right now at 814-384-8088.
With winter approaching, are there any last-minute details that you want to change or renovate around your home?
I might, but you know who to call.
Yeah! Ghostbusters!
No, Tony. No, not Ghostbusters. Solid State Construction.
Oh, yeah. Solid State.
Yeah.
Duh. Solid State takes pride in all their home remodeling projects. Solid State specializes in bathroom remodeling, kitchen renovation, window and door installation, custom design work, and more, including painting, flooring, drywall, sidewalk, decks. Get your free quote today by calling Nick at 814-397-7854. Solid people, solid product, Solid State Construction.
You know, Tony, with all these renovations from Solid State, I think we might have kicked up some bad energy around here. Yeah, oh yeah. Luckily, we know just the people to go see.
I know it this time. It's Ghostbusters.
No, Tony. Our friends at Cauldron and Thorne.
Wow. I feel really dumb right now, and I can't believe I didn't think of Cauldron and Thorne. The world's largest witchcraft and metaphysical shop, with everything a person needs to channel the spirit world.
Practice some self-care.
Find enlightenment.
Curse your enemies.
Protect yourself from your enemies.
Bless your friends.
Cleanse your space from negative energies. You can check out all the magical wares available for these different practices we all love and enjoy at Cauldron and Thorne, 2724 West 8th Street, or online at cauldronandthorne.com.
This week, we have an incredible guest for you.
Today we have the members of Brewer and Friends. We got Eric Brewer, we got Ralph, and we got Steve in the building, down in the studio with us for another amazing episode of Everything at Once. How are you boys doing tonight?
Ooh. All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
We are Sans Charlie tonight, our keyboard player. He's probably doing lessons.
He's working.
Yeah, he's working.
So do you guys all work in music outside of the bands?
Well, I do. I teach, and Ralph plays, 100%. And Steve used to work at World of Music
for about 19 years up until recently. I just changed careers. So, yeah.
Wow. So music is everything all the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the dream, right? That's the goal. The end game goal is to just hang out and play music and have fun all the time, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, with my new job, I'm not in music anymore, but I still get a lot of time to play and do gigs and practice and all that. It's great.
Hell yeah. So, how long have you guys been like a band, like Brewer and Friends, or in some formation of the like?
Well, we're actually celebrating our 15th anniversary this year, so yeah, we're extremely old.
That's a long time.
Last thing I knew, it's like, we've been a bit around for a couple years, and then,
Then it was 10.
then it's 10. It's like, 10. Ooh.
Like, whoa, time flies.
That's
We're
cool.
having fun.
Yeah.
It's a cool milestone, but it's also like a little bit.
Kind of makes you take stock and realize, oh boy,
Yeah.
we've been doing it for a while.
That's a
Yeah.
long time for a band to be together.
Yeah.
So 2008 was when this band started, and then before that, Ralph and Brewer and I were in a band called Spooner from 2005 to 2008.
Yeah.
So we've all been playing together for
Long time.
Yeah.
better part of 20 years.
That's
now.
almost 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real long time. So you guys have all been friends, homies, since you're wee lads.
Yeah, I mean, at least, 21,
Yeah.
I mean, I met later.
Yeah,
but it
like
was
2006
Still,
maybe?
was probably like 24 or something like that.
Yeah. And the band I was in before Spooner used to play shows with Ralph's old band, the Decibels,
Yeah.
and so there was a lot of
Yeah,
show
I've-
sharing and
I've been playing since I've been like 14, so yeah.
And I was watching your guys' bands back in the day when I was, still in high school and shit, creeping on you guys, like,
yeah.
that drummer, that bass player.
That's who I want.
Yeah.
So and this is kind of a funny story because I was working at the music store, and it was probably 2006, something like that.
Yeah, it was 2006.
And Brewer comes in, he's playing guitar, and I literally said, "Hey, are you in a band?" He says, "No," and I said, "You are now."
Yeah, boy.
That was pretty much it, yeah.
That's some like Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir vibes there.
Yeah, it was just boom.
Yeah. So we started playing together in Spooner, and then when that kind of dissolved, we started Brewer and Friends.
Started this band,
shortly
yeah.
after.
And it was like not even an intentional thing necessarily. Like I've tried to like think of different band names over the years and try to like have an actual band name, because it started out as just like a benefit. And back then it was a slightly different lineup. So this would have been 2008, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like a benefit show that a friend of ours asked me to throw something together. So we just kind of put together like this fusion jazz, thing.
Sure, yeah.
And
So yeah, there were a couple other. I wasn't the original drummer. Joel Palacci played drums,
Joel
and Vince
Palacci,
Cockamo
yep.
played bass at the very, very first, couple of gigs, and then Ralph and I just kind of moved in.
Yeah, I got off the road. I was touring with a guy from Australia. In doing a blues gig, I toured all over the country and overseas, and I was, I found out I had a kid, so I was like, well, tour life is
Yeah.
on halt.
Right,
and
for
I have
sure.
to move back to Erie, so I came back to Erie and just we all linked up back together, because
Yep.
I knew him forever,
Cool.
Yeah. And Joe Cieslak, sax player, was a founding member of the band too. And he
Yep.
played with us for the longest time, and then he kind of moved away.
he moved to the Carolinas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But he's back now.
He's
I
back
mean,
now.
he's back in the area now, but not necessarily back in the band. But he's welcome to play with us whenever he wants.
So you guys have been playing for. I know I've seen you at like Celebrate Erie for like years. It feels like in all sorts of different other places. And I recently checked out your Pink Floyd set.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
That is so cool. We had such a good time listening to that.
Yeah.
Very, very cool stuff.
We had a great time too. It was super fun.
Yeah, we started that back in probably like 2009, right when I came back off the road. So that started right around the same time I got in with like Brewer and Friends, and the keyboard player from Spooner and me kind of like wanted to do. We always wanted to play Dark Side, and then we got Brewer involved. And then the original drummer was Chris Head at the time from LEC, and he couldn't do it. So then we got Steve involved, and we had a lead singer from Pittsburgh, Gene Stovall. He was the lead singer doing all this. He did everything. Then he moved back down to Pittsburgh, and that's when we got Doug Phillips in the band for that, the Pink Floyd tribute.
Right.
And we just kind of do that every, once a year. We didn't ever want to saturate.
Yeah, right.
And that kind of speaks to how we've been able to keep things fresh as this band at the core, because we all do different things. We're not doing just this all the time. We're not doing just that all the time. We all have different projects that we're doing, but we always kind of come back to this as home base.
Erie's kind of an interesting market for that stuff too, because I feel like it's easy to oversaturate yourself here locally if you're not
for sure.
going out and playing other areas or playing different kinds of music or different songs or different bands and whatnot. Because, I mean, not to say that I don't enjoy seeing the same band multiple times, but eventually it's kind of like,
Especially if nothing changes, like set list wise or songs, it's kind of like, oh man,
And we've always kind of kept with the jam band status quo of changing up the set list every show. We don't really play the same, set twice, and we try to keep things fresh.
And the jams are different too.
Yeah.
They're not always the same.
Improv is always welcome.
Yeah,
and that's another reason why we've been doing this for so long. Kind of keeps it fresh, keeps each other on their toes.
So with all of these different projects, how do you guys remember all your songs?
Memory.
We just do.
Just remember it. Do you hear them in your sleep?
No notes. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like you're accessing some kind of like innate skill, where if you don't think about it too much, you can do it. If you start thinking about oh man, there's because the 8 Great Tuesdays that we just played.
Yeah, me and him, we did the Celebrity Fleetwood Mac tribute one week, and then we did the your All Stars tribute to Soul at 8 Great Tuesdays. Then we did the Pink Floyd tribute, and then we had to do Blue Sky.
Yeah,
and that was all within 1 week.
Yeah,
I had to look. That was probably over 60, 70 songs. Yeah.
So what does your rehearsal schedule look like? Do you practice a lot?
Oh man,
these songs.
I mean, for projects like that.
Yeah, those projects. Yeah. Rehearsal. As far as us, we don't practice that much. We used to, but as COVID happened and all that kind of, we really haven't. With all the other projects, we kind of know this stuff so much.
Yeah, the last few years practices have been a little more sporadic, but we used to have some really great practice places that we had easy access to, and we could go there a few times a week. But it hasn't been like that since COVID, unfortunately.
The practice space was kind of up in the air, which let us kind of
spread out and do other things.
Yeah. So we still have a pretty expansive repertoire, and we're still bringing in new covers and writing new songs. But the frequency with which this band practices has dwindled a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's a natural byproduct of all the other projects.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to almost be willing, and we're all in those other projects too. So it's not like we're not playing with each other. We're still working together.
I think that's a big thing too, is that you're not playing music. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not practicing music or your instruments at all. You're just not practicing it in this form,
right? Yeah,
staying tight.
Yeah, because me and him playing Funkademic, which we normally practice for that, and CEE Brown, we play with him. Ron Euros, we play with him. It's just I guess without practicing, we do practice.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
not this band, so much.
I mean, and the gigs themselves are the best practice, because that you're able to identify what works and what doesn't. Where when you're rehearsing, I think there's almost a cautionary tale of over rehearsing when you've got this vision in your head, it's got to be exactly like this, and then you get in front of people and it doesn't work, and then you're all salty. You know what I mean?
That makes total sense. Because I love feedback. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm 10 times more funnier if somebody's laughing at my jokes and kind of guiding me along on where I should press the buttons, you know what I mean? What I need to lean into and what's clearly not working. And I could imagine the same thing would happen with music, especially performing or anything like that. If the crowd's liking it and digging it and cheering and shit, obviously this is good.
I like the gigs where, say we haven't played together in a few weeks, and we get together in a gig, haven't seen each other in several days or weeks, and those are some of the best ones, honestly.
Because we wouldn't see each other for a month,
and we're just so eager to get in there and dive in and jump on it, get after it.
That goes back to like the oversaturation thing, you know what I mean? Like when you're doing the same thing all the time, maybe not the same thing, but you're still, there's a certain energy and a certain buzz that you get from doing something that you haven't done in a while, especially something that you greatly enjoy and love with people that you care about. It's a different feeling.
We stay local, we stay homegrown, and most of that is because we're based here, we have jobs here, we have families here. A couple of the guys in the band have kids, and so we can't really just jump in the van and go out for 3-4 weeks at a time. We remain here because we love it here, A, and we kind of have to, B, but we're lucky enough to be able to play in so many different situations that it just kind of works out. If I was doing if any of us were doing like a touring band and we were playing the same set every night,
oh man, yeah,
it would get so tiresome.
Yeah.
So the keeping it fresh, it just goes naturally with where we are and what we're doing.
I feel like that, like the improvisation, it's like two sides of the same coin. Like with the fan base too, like I love like Deadhead, Fish, like the Goose, all those bands.
Yep.
You get spoiled as a fan if you go and see a band who like just plays like a rigid set list, that doesn't like go and explore the music. You're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
This band only played for an hour and 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And they stuck to the script.
And they stuck to the script.
It sounded like the album.
Yeah.
So going back to the one question about how do you guys remember all this music? I'm only speaking for myself, but I did marching band in high school, and there's a healthy dose of memorization with that.
Oh,
you
sure.
have to know your part. And I remember several times, learning the music, and I would say to myself, I'm not getting up from this chair until I get this part right, because you don't want to be the weakest link.
No.
You have to have your
Failure is not
stuff
an option.
memorized.
No.
But on the other end of the spectrum, there's this wide open improv aspect to what we do too. So I think we get, at least for me, I get the best of both worlds. I get that rigid, structured, composed aspect of it that came naturally to me as a student. And then we get this wide open, improv, happy-go-lucky, free-for-all that not knowing what's going to happen at any given time, and we just get to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's cool too. That like that's kind of one of the things that you guys are like known for is your improvisation and your jamminess and the ability or the trust from like venues to just be like, yeah, go for it. Like you guys are good to go. Do your thing. Play what you want to play, and it's going to be great because they have that level of trust, and the people know that when they're coming out to see Brewer and Friends, they're going to have a good show, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, that level of jamminess can get sucked in and turn on a dime at any point, and right back into the structured part.
Yeah, I think we know
like,
if we're like we could sense when we've overstayed our welcome a little bit, and then it's like, all right,
you look around, you make eye contact, you give each other the nod.
Yeah, let's get back
it's time to jump back into the structured part,
or jump into another tune entirely
song.
if that one's like totally but that usually doesn't happen. I mean, for me, that's my favorite part of it. It's just the fact that people are willing to indulge us and let us do that. You know what I mean? Let us stretch out. And I think over the years of doing that, we've kind of learned, what we can get away with and what we can't.
Yeah.
But that's where I think we discover some of our best, work as musicians, like just for us personally, is when we're in that environment of like the crowd's into it. They're down with whatever we're gonna throw at them, and we're just gonna try to find something. It's not knowing what it is right away. It's almost searching for it, and there might be some imperfections along the way, but you might stumble upon something
That's good.
That's only and it's something that's only alive in that moment, and then after that show's over, it's gone. It never happens again.
Right.
So something about that appeals to me.
Have you ever had, though, like when you're improvising on stage, you say like, you know, the moment dies, but have you ever like found like a certain like, you know, I'm not a music person, so I'm not going to say the right word, like a lick or a rhythm, and you're like, that's a song.
Songs have been written out of improv for sure.
Yeah. And so that's option A, like we're composing in the moment, and then we might stumble upon something like, ooh, all right, we're gonna stash that aside for later. Or we start playing something that is already a song, and then we start teasing that song. But it originates as an accident. Like I'll play something stupid, and it's like,
that sounds like...
it's some like 80s song or something, or like a TV show theme.
That sounds like California Love by Tupac.
Right.
So we dive into that you know, for a minute and then come back to it. Or that sounds like Bloody Well Right by the guest, you know, and then we come back into the song that it jumped out of.
We don't really pre-plan that a lot. I mean, there's times where we do pre-plan those teases and stuff, but a lot of times it just happens.
Yeah,
and then the other guys, because we listen to each other, every guy in the band will be like, "Oh, all right, like I see, I heard that.
Where you're going.
I heard that. Yeah."
And to that note too, we hear each other's mistakes too. Like if you ever see us like, and one of us is laughing at the other one.
Yeah, if you see us laughing.
I heard that. One of us heard the other one do something.
I'd rather laugh about it than be like,
Oh man.
Oh, you ruined it.
I've had those moments of when I never for the other guys, but just for myself, where there was an important section that we had to play that was difficult, and I blew it, and I'm just like.
Yeah, but this is not a band that's going to give each other the stink eye on stage.
Yeah,
no.
We're just
always
laughing.
just going to laugh at each other if one of us makes a mistake. Like, I heard that.
And we all have our our DEFCON 5 moves for when
a mistake does go.
Yeah. Ralph can just slide.
Yeah, I can. I'll figure it out once it gets back to the section. Yeah.
There's like such a high degree of intimacy between you guys, and when you're on stage, like being able to know and pick up on all of those different things and hear those mistakes and those little things that sound like other things that work into other stuff. That it's just really impressive to have like that level of understanding and that degree of like musicianship to really be able to pick up on that kind of stuff, because it's not, I feel like there's like a certain level that not that like there's levels or anything like that, but there's like a certain point where the musicianship like you're just like a pro now, you know what I mean, you're like an expert. Was there like a certain time where you're like, damn, I'm like I can really do this? Or a time like you realized in your band where you guys were onto something?
Oh yeah. There have been times where we're
like, holy shit, I didn't know that we could even do this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure.
That still surprises me sometimes. Like,
I mean, me as a musician, I always feel like I can always get better.
yeah, it's
Right.
never like
It's never like I've reached
the
it,
pinnacle.
and this is all. I always feel like I can learn, and
Yeah, using
get better,
the word professional implies that we get paid and actually make an entire living off of this, but that's not quite the correct word. It's seasoned is more like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seasoned for sure.
well, and we're professional.
Yeah. I mean, we are professional in the sense that we don't. You're going to get a quality show.
Yeah.
Right, for sure.
We're not a professional touring band or anything
No.
like that, but I mean, especially if if we had ever done that, I'm sure it would have even, we would have even take it to another level.
Yeah.
But
I just know there's certain points in my life where I'm like, wow, I'm like an adult now, or wow, I'm like a podcaster now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was moments of, allowing ourselves to, be proud of what we've accomplished as a band. Like even just having, because we've had the same 4 guys in the band for how long now?
15.
I mean,
close to 15 years.
So
close
15,
to
like
it, yeah.
at least 14, like 13, 14.
Yeah, at least 14.
We've had the same lineup, so that's something you don't see very often.
No.
Especially with local bands, people move away and.
How do you guys think you managed to stay friends for so long?
I mean,
Is there a secret?
We could laughing.
laughing, and I don't really really,
you know.
we don't really. I don't feel like I have an ego, and I don't feel like Brewer does or Steve, or we just all get along, and we love playing music. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
the
that
band
simple,
started off, being called Eric Brewer and Friends for lack of a better name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no lie.
Yeah.
You know.
That's I don't know. I just feel like most bands, a lot of them are like, touring bands. So I'm assuming like being stuck in hotels and tour buses and stuff would
In tight
really,
spaces all
make
the
it
time.
like a different dynamic. But
I think so. Yeah.
it's just like most bands you see after like, or at least the big bands after like 5, 6, 7 years are like, it's time to take a fucking
Yeah,
break.
right.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Each
Right.
one of them has their own tour bus. They don't travel
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
It gets real Spinal Tappy all of a sudden.
I mean, I'm sure though we would go over well together on tour, because like I said, I did the touring life and lived in hotels and did all that, and
Yeah, and you're with crazy people too.
yeah, and it was fun, but I mean, I'm sure it would be just seemingly just go together because we all get together, we all like each other,
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
whole thing.
If
we
you
all have we all have shared interests and things we all have in common outside of music. So yeah, we're always talking about this and that.
if there ever was like a once in a lifetime type like can't turn this down opportunity to tour, would you guys do it?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I would definitely do it.
Yeah. If there's any benefactors out there with tour bus money that want to put us up,
Yeah, boy.
We're looking at you right now.
Yeah, we see you out there. We know you're there. And then they can support us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you whales out there. All the oil princes
Yeah,
and
package
sheiks.
deal.
Yeah, right.
live podcast commentary. to the
Exactly.
Show.
Need that. We're going on tour too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Take the treehouse thing.
Yeah, we'll bring the treehouse on tour, dude.
Yeah.
We'll travel to different cities, strap into the back of a semi. It'll be amazing.
Exactly.
Blow minds, dude.
That'd be awesome.
But I mean, the reason we get along, obviously, yeah, we're friends, but there's a respect from a musician standpoint that preceded all that.
Yeah.
So if you don't respect somebody's playing ability, you're not going to respect them as the guy in your band. Everybody just. We gel because we're all good players, and we know that. Not to sound egotistical, but
Yeah,
we know what each other can do and can't do, and
right.
it just works out.
Cool. So when you guys are making new songs, who's the songwriter amongst you guys? Are you guys all work together?
It's pretty much a completely democratic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just in terms of how songs may start naturally. I mean, it might start with the guitar or bass riff or a keyboard line that Charlie writes, and then we'll sit there and we'll develop it, and Steve will add his prog rock
yeah.
touch to it.
Yeah. So generally composition comes from the melodic instruments like guitar and piano.
Yeah, or at least the initial seed of the
initial
idea.
seed of the ideas, yeah, and then we all kind of like add or take away things from the framework. I tend to come in when something needs a beat dropped or added. If the framework is already there and the song's like nearly complete, I'll come in and be like, guys, let's make people trip over themselves here. Let's delete a beat or something like that. Just to make one portion of one section a little odd.
Yeah, and to make it unique too, so it's not just another formulaic
Right.
A part, B part, bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Do you think a lot of your fans notice that stuff?
I think so.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, and just to use More After This as an example, that could have been a very, very standard, hey, it's in 4/4 the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
But one measure, every chorus is in 7, and then we go right back into 4. And does everybody catch the fact that it's in 7? No, because we make it feel good.
Right.
But we know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love those clever little tricks that musicians put into songs that you may not really, you may just like listen to it and it's a normal song, you know what I mean? But it maybe has some sort of strange key signature like that switches up that you're not really going to notice unless you're like heavily invested into listening to the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We tend to write stuff that we're going to still enjoy playing years from now.
Absolutely.
And it will still keep us on our toes. Like, oh yeah, remember this part coming up, you know?
Yeah.
Because it catches us sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Sometimes we're just bopping along like, all right, yeah, this is fun, and then we'll whiff on one of those, and it's just like, oh, all right.
Yeah. We wrote that for ourselves. We gotta remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main ideas for songs come from guitar, piano generally, but structure-wise, I mean, we all have input on how many times we do this part of the chorus or how many times we could do this part of the bridge and stuff like that. Yeah. And, lyrical ideas don't come from just one person either,
No, I mean, if anything, Steve, you probably write the most lyrics out of anyone.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I grew up a Rush fan, so I grew up with the premise of drummers can write lyrics too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily sing everything I write. I just hand it to one of these guys and say, "Here, interpret it."
Cool.
So,
It's an interesting dynamic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of answers the question as far as, who has the most influence and whatever. No, we all do. We all get a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and every song is different too. Like it's not one particular formula from one song to the next or one album to the next, even though we only have the one album from 12 years ago and the one that we're working on right now that, is we'll probably, would like to have out maybe the beginning of 2024 or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to jinx it.
Yeah,
right.
Now that I've said that,
You guys are recording with our good friend Brian Glosky at
Yes,
BFB
yes,
Studios.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Brian.
Yeah,
Brian
If you're
is
listening,
the man.
if you're listening or watching or
Thanks,
whatever
Brian.
you're doing,
I would normally have
best.
a BFE shirt on.
you got to represent. I don't have one
always
yet.
represent.
I gotta start making these trades, dude. We got shirts now, so I'm like talking
you do?
all my band friends.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
nice.
Do you guys have any Brewer shirts with you?
I'm not with us,
unfortunately,
but we can meet up later because we're getting the shirts for this weekend's anniversary show.
Yeah, I've
So we
been
can
doing
swap.
trades. Got my Matt Cray shirt on. Shout out to Matt Cray if you're
Matt
watching.
Cray.
What's up, Matt?
Traded with Ralph Lauren. I see you out there.
we see you around.
Personal friend of mine.
Yeah,
Kiss. Yeah. Gene Simmons.
all those guys.
Yeah.
It's cool, and it's an interesting, there's surprisingly large amount of business that goes into all of these creative things that I think a lot of people overlook about what goes on behind the scenes, all the scheduling, all the phone calls, the buying merch, the selling merch, the everything else that goes into this whole creative industry that is just, people just think oh, you're an artist now, you just do whatever you know what I mean. You go out and they miss that actually there has to be a LLC if we're gonna make any money on this and not go to jail for tax evasion or any of the other things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of people miss.
Yeah. We are kind of an anomaly when it comes to that because we are Erie's only merchless band, I think. And for us to
We've
have
had some limited runs, but
15 years and 10 years between albums and stuff like that and still stay together and still play together, I mean, that's, I don't think
that's the goal though, dude. I don't think that's not the anomaly. That's the goal is where you don't have to do any of that shit and you can still go out and perform and do it and not have to spam Facebook with a million things and Instagram and work all the social medias and all that shit.
Yeah,
because that's the worst part of
and that's how it is nowadays too. You have social media is a big part of a lot of stuff too.
I respect the hustle for sure. I just feel corny doing it myself. Now, if I could find a manager or somebody, I haven't found that person yet, but if I find, again, shouting out to anyone.
Yeah, any managers out there?
Agents, managers, or social media
experts,
professionals.
It's $1 million though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah, it's
but I think we've cultivated such a culture of fun and friendship around this band that I think
right. I
our
mean, you guys have been
reputation locally kind of precedes us.
When you do
thankfully.
anything for 15 years, people are gonna just know it. It just permeates through the system without having to be pushed through social media or anything. You know what I mean? People you say Brewer and Friends, and 9 out of 10 people in Erie, I would think, are gonna be oh yeah. The band, right? Yeah.
I mean, we're fortunate to have a little bit of name recognition at this point.
For sure.
But it's we're happy to have even that. I mean, Is there more that we could do, like, business wise? Absolutely. But I think that's a good point that, like, that's not our ultimate goal in this band, and as players isn't to necessarily like blow up on the internet or whatever. That sounds really boomerish, but I swear I'm not that old. I'm not as old as that comment sounded. But
one of the coolest comments we got was from Raina, who's the drummer from Autotrocity, and I know I'm paraphrasing with this, but one of the coolest comments we got was something about you guys just play shows that vibe with the whole city, and everybody loves that.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I'll take that all day.
I'll take that.
Right.
That all day. Yeah.
Yeah. And
we do play, regionally too. So we play Jamestown and some Pittsburgh sometimes, and we've been out to the Cleveland region. So we would like to push that envelope a little bit more, and try to expand the reputation that we have here in Erie to some of the surrounding areas. The big tours and all that stuff notwithstanding, just even doing what we do here and taking it a little more regional, I think is maybe a goal that I personally would like to see us do. And it wouldn't really, nothing that would require any more, commitment than what we're already putting in, but just to take, some of the bookings that we might do in Erie and then push fan those out a little bit. So that's something I would like to see.
Oh, that makes sense. And it's all just like a progression of things too. It seems like with anything, you start at the bottom and you work your way up and you expand and you grow and you keep doing it until eventually people know who you are and you have that respect that you have around here. And I'm sure it continues to expand anytime you play in like any of those places. You know what I mean? It's just like a matter of time until that breaking point happens and you're doing it more frequently or as much as you guys aspire to do,
Absolutely. Yeah, we either win the place over and we start drawing and we win over the management at the venue, and then we have another venue in our pocket that we can increase our circuit, or it's not really our type of vibe and we try it and it doesn't really work out, and hey, we tried it, maybe we'll try it again in a few years or something, or
sometimes we've even gotten gigs because sound guys like us. Hey, hire these guys. They're easy to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No,
they know how to set up and get a good sound, and I don't have to do anything and let her rip.
It's good to make friends with people behind the scenes.
The production guys, we love them.
Yeah.
We're not here to piss anybody off, and be too big for our britches. We know that they're working just harder than we do.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I always try to make it easy, for those guys.
Just try to give them a good sound, real quick and easy, and
because if they're happy, they'll make you sound good.
Right.
Yeah.
If you make them,
if you're a dick,
if you're a dick, then it could just go bad.
Right.
It's always easy.
Yeah, they'll fuck up your sound on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then you're definitely not playing against everything.
I would.
Shit.
And you know what? I would too. If I was a sound guy, and I went to college for sound engineering. I eventually changed my major because it was. I realized that I wanted to just be a musician and not do the audio. Although I still retained the skills that I learned from that. They were invaluable skills to learn. But yeah, something that I learned was to work well with your engineer and, not...
make friends, not enemies.
Yeah, not cause problems where they don't need to be. In that regard,
Yeah. And I've always been of the mind that, if I was an outsider who knew nothing about the Erie music scene, I walked into a venue and heard us playing, or even before the show started, like I've always wanted nothing more than for somebody to come in, see Charlie's keys, Ralph's amp, Brewer's guitar, my drum set sitting there on stage without hearing a note we're going to play, and to be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to have a good night.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Right. No, and that's a good feeling too. And it goes back to like how important, like one of the things that I've noticed working with like different musicians, either on the podcast or in the Treehouse series and stuff like that, is that like it is so important to be a performer when you hit that stage, you know what I mean? And leave the other stuff at the door or whatever and go out there and give the people are investing they may not be like paying to see your show or whatever, but they're coming out to spend an hour or 2 hours with you, and they want to have a good time and they want to have fun, and they're hoping that you add to that experience, and to like do that in a good way that respects yourself and respects your art and respects the venue and everything like that. You gotta put it all out there, you know what I mean? You gotta move, you gotta jump around, you gotta play your heart out, you gotta have fun. And if you're not having fun, they're definitely not having fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's one compliment I always get from people is, you know, they look at me and they're like, man, you always look like you're having fun. And I'm like, well, I am, you know? I love playing music. And, you know, you can't be up there just like, you got to feel the music.
For sure.
You got to be into it, you know?
And you can see that as like an audience member or another artist or anything like that. Like, oh shit, he just had a shit sandwich for lunch today, dude. He's not. Or she or whoever.
Yeah, you can just get a vibe off of him by looking at him on stage.
Nobody wants to catch that vibe from your entertainment.
Oh, no.
You know?
Like, this guy doesn't even want to play some music up here. Like, what the fuck?
Admittedly, that's one thing I've never been that great at. Like, I've been told I frown a lot when I'm playing, but hey, that's
it's
the look
just
of
concentration.
Yeah, you're
concentration.
Right.
Like I'm not mad. It's not like I don't want to be there. I'm just you know
focused.
I'm just focused,
laser
you know?
focused.
Yeah, exactly.
Focused.
I don't have the energy to use my facial muscles to smile. I'm busy doing everything else.
Yeah.
So no, I don't ever want people to get that impression that I'm not enjoying it just because I'm not smiling. But I do that in between songs. Plenty. Like,
I picture you in that meme with all like the mathematical equations. They're like just like this, and there's all the, you know.
I see like an old Beatles music video where like they're all playing their instruments and smiling, and then Ringo Starr's just like holding the umbrella and just like totally disinterested. Like that's like the image I'm getting in my head right now.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to express yourself through your music and through, like, and I don't know, the body language and the presence on stage is so important to the music.
Yeah,
and depending on what kind of music it is too, you know what I mean? You don't want to be up there fucking smiling and cheering when you're playing a sad song about getting your heart. You know what I mean? You gotta look
at that
like,
too.
Great.
I wish I could express the joy of playing drums that Ringo did. Like, he made it look so much fun. Like you just knew he was up there having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously playing Ringo parts, but still, like, he sold it.
He definitely sold it.
He made a lot of people want to play drums.
Oh god, yeah, he had the most unique sounds of any drummer ever.
Yeah. And it's like, it sounds simplistic, but some of those beats, like, if you actually try to play them, they're not that easy to duplicate, even though it seems very rudimentary.
Or
you know, so that's
duplicating for that long of the song.
For that long of the song, for an entire like 3-minute song.
Yeah.
I as a musician, that stuff like that really interests me. Like stuff that sounds like anybody could do it,
Right.
but in reality, only he could do it.
Yeah,
you know what I
dive
mean?
into it, and you're like, wait, that's not easy.
We had that realization when we made a cover of a Blink-182 song, "What's My Age Again?" Except we called it "What's My Wage Again?" And it was all about being broke, and we made a music video for it. And our friend that did the drum track for us and our guitarist and everybody was like, Jesus, like. What, like, once they unpackaged Travis Barker's drums and the guitar and everything, they're like, holy there's a lot more to this song than like meets the eye. Which goes back to like what you're talking about like throwing in them 7/8 measures in there every once in a while, you know?
Well, since we're talking about specific bands now, do you guys want to get into who you've listened to the most and who
Tell us tell us where the Brewer and Friends sound come from.
Go for it.
Don't start with me. I mean, I'm listening to whatever I'm basically listening to at the time, which has varied so much throughout the years that it's almost like hard to.
What genre are you in right now?
I mean, God, right now, I would say I'm kind of getting back into like a early 2000s like jazz funk.
Like Jamiroquai?
Kind of, yeah. Like, you ever listen to Medeski Martin Wood with John Scofield?
Sure.
Like, the John Scofield stuff, I always go back to that stuff. So that's something, like, as a, like, you know, in this band especially, like, we play a lot of those tunes. And we don't even play them nearly as jazzy, I would say. Like, it's definitely more, you know.
More rock
jam.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, just like that's kind of the vibe I'm in right now. Is like real groovy stuff. But then I go through shred phases where I go back to like Yngwie Malmsteen and like ridiculous stuff like that. You know. Or punk. Like my first genre was like punk for.
What was punk when you were coming up?
Well, when I was like in middle school, it was like Blink-182, which and then I learned like I got into actual
like AFI. And
yeah, well, I eventually graduated to like hardcore punk like that, but you know, Ramones, The Clash. Like The Clash was my favorite band for several years in high school, and then I started getting into the more like, you know, Anti-Flag and like stuff like that, and that kind of parlayed into metal. So then I had a metal phase.
Oh yeah.
And hardcore.
We love metal and hardcore. Poison the Well. Did you go to Forward Hall shows back in the day?
Yeah.
Poison
Earth
the
Crisis.
Well and Earth Crisis and Red Chord, Acacia Strain, all the good people that used to come around here a million years ago.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That was a cool scene. Yeah, Lake Effect hardcore. So I was in that for a minute, and then somehow went from that, and then I went to music school, and you know, trying to like censor myself a little bit, but started, you know, inhaling certain substance.
Sure. I mean, you can say, well, unless you don't want to say.
Not crack. I'm not saying.
A little bit of the devil's lettuce, maybe.
Yeah,
devil's
maybe,
lettuce.
you know, started, you know, going a little more green, so to speak.
Yeah.
What's Sam's word for it? Jazz cabbage?
Jazz cabbage.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Taking those youths and their jazz cabbage.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I was a jazz guitar student, so I think it was kind of like required.
Right, basically, yeah. You have to.
Yeah. So, and then that totally, you know, not that I never tried it before, but like, you know, when you're in college and you're a music student, it's kind of like your
All the
lifestyle.
time. Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
food.
That's part of the ambiance of the vibe.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, you had the classical kids who were like very proper, and you know, they might go out and have a couple of drinks or something
Right.
if they were 21.
Oh yeah, of course.
But as far as the, you know, the jazz cabbage, as Steve would say, you know, that was like, ooh, what's wrong with you guys? But you know, we were the jazz kids, so and yeah, that opened a whole world to, you know, all the jam bands, Fish, The Dead, you know, Widespread Panic,
Sure.
all those bands, and then I think that kind of almost made me appreciate jazz a little bit more because I understood the improvisational side of it. So then I started kind of digging back into actual jazz. I'm not, you know, much of a straight ahead jazz player, but I've certainly like, I love that stuff, like, you know, early Miles Davis, and then getting into like jazz fusion, like Mahavishnu Orchestra and Billy Cobham and all that. You know, we love that. We love that stuff.
Yeah.
In this band. So yeah, it's just all over the map, man. What about you guys? I mean,
Yeah, me.
Funk phase, you know.
I always loved like Parliament, you know, Funkadelic,
Yeah.
Bootsy Collins, any of the slap bass guys, Larry Graham, like
Les Claypool.
Yeah, Les, Marcus Miller,
Flea.
Victor Wooten,
Flea, yeah.
Flea's
He
big.
plays Flea's bass.
Yeah, I got a Flea
Oh,
model
nice,
bass.
dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's my go-to. I love that bass. I've had that bass for almost like 20 years now, you know. But yeah, you know, I like with Brewer, I ran the gamut of all different styles, you know, especially, you know, when I was first getting going, I think I loved Jimi Hendrix. Like, even though I was a bass player, the whole vibe of like them being a trio and the sound they got was like amazing.
Huge,
You
yeah.
know, huge sound. There's only 3 guys, you know. And that just kind of like, I don't know, they really, and his playing was, you know, nobody could play like Jimi Hendrix and have that sound. It was just like, even though, like I said, I'm a bass player, something like latched to me on that. And I really went heavy into Hendrix, you know, as when I first started. Then it kind of grew to like the funk stuff, and then it got into like jazz fusion and, you know, Latin. Like I used to play with Mambo, which is like a Latin jazz group, you know, like, and I started that when I was like coming out of high school. So I started listening to like more stuff like that, like Tito Puente and like just stuff I never would have ever listened to unless I joined that band. And that kind of like opened me up to all different styles. And, you know, especially first starting off playing, I always wanted to play everything. You know, I didn't want to be like, oh no, you're just that.
You only play this kind
The
of music.
rock bass player guy, or you're the country bass player guy. I'm like, nah, I want to do everything. You know, I want to learn everything. You know, it's just, you know, I still to this day I'm still like that, but not as much. practicing and stuff because I have a family and all that, and I play in a lot of bands and But yeah, just anything that's good.
What do you guys think about modern music or contemporary music, pop music?
Oh, I
actually like a lot of it. We just did on New Year's Eve last year. We played a show at the Rook where we had a bunch of guest musicians, and we played a song from each year, like a top 40 basically song from 40. Each year that we've been a band.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we were doing everything from Harry Styles to Tove Lo to Adele to The Weeknd and Kings of Leon. Yeah. There's good and bad with every genre.
Yeah.
Right.
And that includes the genres we love too. Mm-hmm. There's quality stuff out there, and then there's just some hack stuff,
Right.
Yeah, you can see the stuff that's like flash in the pan, and what's really good,
Yeah.
As far as like the main, especially with like even like hip hop, Travis Scott, Kanye West, all that stuff. It's
Kendrick.
Good. Kendrick, and then that it's stuff that's like, you're just gonna be like a one hit wonder,
right? I won't say anything.
Yeah. You can tell who's got staying power and who doesn't.
Yeah, and who's like a SoundCloud.
And I really enjoy like the production value on a lot of that stuff. Like people don't realize like the money and all the stuff that goes into a lot of like the new Travis Scott album. It's hip hop, but man, if you listen to it, just like they put a lot of time into that.
So much detail.
They're
to
pushing
it.
the envelope of production.
Exactly.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Which I appreciate. Like some pop music is like so compressed dynamically that it's just
Yeah.
It's just
there's like so many things going on all at once, and somehow it still ties together.
Yeah, and I like the songs that make you notice different things upon repeated listens that you didn't hear before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it has to be complicated, not that it has to be constant.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it can be something simple, and you can be listening to it, not having heard it in several weeks, and then you hear something. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah,
that's so cool, man. And that's those little production value details, and every genre has it, and those are those little moments are what I like.
It's really interesting that you guys are much more open minded and less snobby than I am. Because 9 times out of 10, anybody asks me about pop music, I'm gonna be like, it's all fucking trash.
He's a fucking
It's
snob.
all trash. Anything on Star 104 or Happy or any of that shit is all garbage. I'm not listening to it.
Yeah, I think
go put on some band that nobody's ever heard of that I can actually respect.
Looks at the good aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter what style it is, you just kind of look for the good part of it.
Right.
Even if you're not a fan of it. As a musician, just my mind goes to like, what's the best part of this, song?
Right.
No, and you can tell that, and I appreciate that about you guys, because a lot of the times I'm just like, if everybody likes it, I definitely do not fucking like it.
I'm rebelling here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the opposite.
Rocker, dude.
I'm the opposite of it, and it's like, look, I can understand if something's not like a good song, even if I'm not a musician, but like if it's able to evoke some kind of emotion, even if it's just like some one-hit wonder that I can still dig it. I can get behind that stuff. I'm the opposite of Tony there. Like it's it's just like there's a reason why 40 million people are listening to this song.
Because they're stupid.
Because they're stupid.
Because they're dumb.
And you could be like, they could be stupid. And it goes back to like, I remember watching something with David Bowie, and like when him and John Lennon got together and made Fame, and they made this song, and Bowie was like, this is garbage. This is not a good song, and it ended up being his only #1 hit. So like sometimes you think it's garbage, but like the people are gonna fucking love it.
But then David Bowie and Mick Jagger got together for Dancing in the Streets, and that was garbage.
That was really garbage.
That was bad.
I don't know why anybody thought that was a good idea.
Well, because when you have two people that are just like larger than life,
Two
they get to call their own
And
shots.
lots of cocaine.
Yeah.
Lots of cocaine.
Lots of cocaine.
They get to do what they want then.
Yeah.
You get to do what you want when you're like a worldwide superstar and you're just doing rails of coke. Fucking.
Bowie and Jagger. I mean, can't argue with it. I mean, it's That is probably my least favorite track by either the Stones or any of Bowie's catalog.
It's horrific.
But what about
absolutely
the
horrific.
what about the music video though?
Oh my gosh!
Somebody made a shreds
funny.
video of that. Somebody made a music video of it where it's just like the sounds and without the music, but just like their footsteps, and, like, their breathing. Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I love those on TikTok so much where they got like,
shreds videos.
like only the Van Halen like yells from
Running with the Devil solo vocal track.
yeah, dude.
Amazing.
I was in tears the first time I heard it. just David Lee
Oh,
Roth.
it was so good, dude. I
Out of context.
probably still could watch that like 20 times and laugh each time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's definitely one that I did not immediately swipe. I definitely watched that one. I definitely listened to it like 10 or 20 times.
It gets better as it goes along.
It does.
It gets funnier and funnier.
Have you ever
See, it's something else. Man.
when we started this, the one thing I said was, can we not scream into the mics? I had a Glockenspiel incident.
Yeah.
And then we've got to the point where everyone's screaming
everybody's
into the
making
mic.
weird
I'm just
David
kidding.
Lee Roth noises.
At least everybody's doing like a falsetto version.
Do you guys ever think, like when you're making music, like we got this new album or CD or whatever the hell you want to
Whatever
call it
you call it
nowadays,
these days,
yeah.
new set of songs coming out. You ever think a good idea might be the one that you guys like the least, just putting it on there anyways and seeing if it becomes a massive hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one obviously sucks. People are gonna fucking love it.
Yeah. Well, didn't I have a text one night where I was like, we should like. It was like a couple crazy ideas like that. Like we should take Benson, re-record it, and just have it be a rap song. You know what I mean? But not that that's
Yeah, not that
crappy, but like
yeah.
it was just like wild ideas. Like
It kind of takes me back to the 90s when they would do bonus tracks at the end of albums.
Oh, yeah.
And you would have to, the last track would play.
It'd be like 10
and
minutes
then it would
long.
like 10 minutes later,
Yeah, and then finally,
Yeah.
this mystery track would play.
and sometimes it was awesome. Sometimes
Yeah.
it was like, this is the best
That was,
song
like,
on
best
the album.
one, yeah.
it's a mystery track.
Yep.
That was back in the day when you like memorized how long the song was, and you pressed it on your fucking CD player,
Yeah.
your little Walkman, held it down till it got to that point, and then let it go, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
That's how
I would always check. Once you found one, you had to check every CD that you had to see if there was
Right.
a bonus track.
Yeah.
You never know.
But
That's
why
how
is the song
I would
11
learn
minutes long?
songs. What's that?
I said, why is the song 11 minutes long?
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah,
really only
weird.
3
Look at the
minutes.
runtime.
Yep.
It's like, this doesn't make sense.
Fast forward to the end, like, oh, there's another song here. That's cool.
It's a
Tacked
record.
on to the last track.
Nice little tasty treat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the recorded version of an encore.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, I totally get why so many bands and artists did that, and I think it should still be a thing.
Yeah, I think
know?
that's a good point that you bring up, that like something that we might not necessarily despise, but we might not feel as like something we want to put out there as representative of our band. It actually might be something that could, bring more listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that's certainly something that's crossed my mind with this recent album, because we left a lot on the cutting room floor on the last album. I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 fully recorded songs that we didn't use.
Yeah, and we still packed that album full of.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 13 tracks.
Almost
still.
over full a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we were trying to, with our first album, we were trying to make something that was not really jam as much. I mean, there was some obviously jam sections, but something that was more a traditional, straight ahead.
Yeah, we had a lot of songs. We wanted to record everything we had.
Yeah.
And we wanted to put everything we had out, and some
didn't-
stuff got left behind.
We didn't want to bore people with 10-minute jams on the album version.
Yeah,
Like, leave
yeah.
that for the live.
Right.
But with this new album, we're definitely like, all right, this time we want to be a little more representative of what our live show is like,
Yeah.
while still having the overdub capability of being in the studio and being able to put in some of those, what Steve was referring to earlier, like the things that reward the repeated listens, the little things that might not jump out the first listen, but as you give it another try, you might notice a layer there that you didn't hear the first time. Like stuff like that I would like to spend more time on with this record, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. So, there's no way you guys have only one album's worth of songs.
Correct.
Yeah.
It must have been a super difficult process to narrow that down.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe you guys knew exactly.
We have an album sorting, or a song album order sorting machine that we invented.
Nice, dude.
No. That's totally fake. But no, we did kind of agonize a little bit over what we were gonna keep and what we were gonna.
Yeah, well, and that was early on too, with us starting.
Yeah,
We didn't have
we had
nearly
only been
as
together
many-
for a few years at that point.
Now it's probably more like
Yeah.
that, like, oh, what could we add to this album, or well, maybe we shouldn't add that, you know. Which it's a good luxury to have that now, you know, compared to back when 2013. You know, we had a lot of songs, but not nearly as much as we do now.
Right.
You know?
And I think our songwriting has evolved
Yeah, definitely.
leaps and bounds since that first record. So,
Yeah, and there's a good amount that's going to be on this upcoming album that we've been playing live,
yeah.
and so you know.
Any brand new ones that no one's heard before?
There will be.
Yeah, there will be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see at least 4 completely.
New ones.
Yeah, maybe more. Who knows? I mean, we're not in any hurry to like just
Pumped out an
shard it
album.
out and get it done. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but I don't want to over agonize over it either. You know.
Yeah, it'll just come naturally. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
How it normally happens. Yeah. It's one of those things. Can't really explain it. You know, it just happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Somebody will play something. Somebody else will say, "Hey, I like that. Let's
Yeah.
do more with that."
Yeah.
Or it might be an old part that we went over years ago,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you say, "Hey, you remember this?" And then
Yeah. There were
Back
a
to
lot of
life.
practices
Yeah.
we recorded, and a lot of little snippets have been saved in the memory bank, and we could come back to any of those at any time.
Yeah, and that's really fun when you find something that you did like 10 years ago, and then it actually
10 years
somehow
later,
comes back to
exactly.
life.
And it's brand new now.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
crawls out of the grave, and
You know, it's a song.
yeah.
You knew it was. You're like, this is gonna work at some point.
yeah, at some point.
There's
10
a
years
reason
later.
we recorded
Yeah.
this.
There's a reason why I recorded it, and then I forgot it even existed, and then
Yeah.
years later, I'm like going through my voice memo. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
And then like suddenly he's like, "Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
That's a song right
from
there.
the
Yeah.
rehearsal back in
yeah. It's from our old practice space on
2015,
38th
yeah.
Street. You know where Sheets is now, or
Oh,
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
that rehearsal space."
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Well, guys,
we'll spare you. Yeah.
this has been super fun. Thank you so much for coming down and hanging
Yeah,
out
thanks
with
for
us,
having us.
man.
talking
Thank you.
to us about
It's
the
a
new
blast.
album. Yeah, make sure you guys go see Eric Brewer next time they're playing around here. Look for their new album that's going to
Thanks,
come
guys.
out next year.
Yep.
Support us on Patreon, Venmo, any contributions. Any sponsors out there that want to sponsor an episode or a couple episodes or Tonk TV or a Treehouse series, let me know. We love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.
Goodbye.